Today you will learn how to solve multi-step inequalities. Write the date 6.3, solve multi-step inequalities in your notebook before you start recording any notes. Focus on question number 7. The question is asking you to solve the inequality and graph your solution. And before you focus on question number 7, write this down in your notes. When multiplying or dividing the variable by a negative number, you need to reverse the inequality symbol, and this is extremely careful in narrowing down your answer choices. So if you did not get a chance to write them down, rewind and write it down and then continue. So question number 7. This is a simple one. All you have to do is look on the left side. You got a 7 parenthesis r minus 3, which gives you a distributive property in mind. So distributive property here and here. 7r gives you 7 times r gives you 7r. 7 times negative 3 gives you negative 21. 7 multiplies r, 7 multiplies negative 3. Keep the inequality symbol exactly the same and negative 13. Bring the other side exactly down. Now you got your two-step inequality. So plus 21 on this side and plus 21 on this side to get rid of the minus 21. Keep in mind you cannot reach your 7 until you get rid of anything that tags along on the other side on far away. Cancel these two, 7r, and negative 13 and positive 21 combines to give you an 8. Bring the inequality. Now you divide by 7 on both sides. Cancel. R is greater than or equal to 8 over 7, which approximately gives you 1.14. Now I'm going to change this to 1.14 because I want to graph it. You can just leave it as 8 over 7. Now one caution in this case is you will not change the inequality. They will stay the same, because you did not multiply or divide by a negative number. You can only reverse them provided you are multiplying and dividing by a negative number. So in this case, all I got is just a 1.14 as a starting point, and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 0. And keep in mind, you have to decide between a open circle and a closed circle. And in this case, at 1.14, it is going to be a closed circle, because of the equal sign. And the arrow is going to go to the right because my arrow and this arrow will match, provided my variable is on the left side. Or you're going to treat it as r could take on any number which is greater than or equal to 1.14, which is on the right side. Question number 10. So on the left side, I got 8n minus 2, 17n plus 9. So this is variables on both sides. You got to bring all the variables to one side. So I'm going to do a minus 8n on this side and a minus 8n on this side. Collect all the variables on one side to begin with. So these two cancels out, and I got negative 2 greater than, and this is going to give me a 9n plus 9. Now this is your two-step inequality. So I want to find what n is. So get rid of this far away. So it's going to be minus 9 on the left and on the right. Positive 9, negative 9 cancels out, and this is going to give me negative 11 greater than 9n. Now here comes the last step. This is your one-step inequality. So you divide by 9 on the left and on the right. Cancel. 9 divided by 9 cancels out to give you just n, and this is going to be negative 11 over 9. Now your inequality symbol you will not reverse. That means the inequality symbol stays the same because you are dividing your variable by a positive number, not a negative number. So if you want to graph it, so for graphing, I'm just going to keep it as negative 1.22, which keeps repeating. That's fine. And if you divide, that is what you're going to get. And my starting point is 1.22, a 2, and a 3, a 1, and a 0. A couple of numbers to the left and on the right side. And I have to decide between open circle and closed circle. That is how you can narrow down your answer choices to 2. You can eliminate 2 just by your open circle and closed circle. So this is going to be an open circle because you do not have the equal sign. And my arrow is negative 1.22. So since it is negative 1.22, I'm going to take all of this back. So negative 1.22, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and 0. So in this case, it's going to be once again an open circle. And this is going to be an open circle, and my arrow is going to be on the left side. So you take it as n is going to be any number that is smaller than negative 1.22, and all the numbers smaller than negative 1.22 is on the left side. Or if you have to think it like this, my arrow will not match this arrow because my variable is not on the left side. Question number 13. So negative 2/3 d minus 2 less than 1/3 d plus 8. So I want to collect all the variables to one side of my equal sign. I have variables on the left and I have variables on the right side. So I want to collect all the variables to one side. So I'm going to do a plus 2/3 d on the left and a plus 2/3 d on the right. Cancel. And on the left side, I just have a negative 2. I'm going to bring down the inequality symbol exactly the way as it is. Now 1/3 d plus 2/3 d. So 1/3 plus 2/3 is going to give me 3/3, and 3/3 is nothing but 1. So which is nothing but 1d plus 8. Pause the video to understand this concept. This is your 4th grade math coming into play. 1/3 plus 2/3 gives you 3/3, which is nothing but 1, and 1 times d is just your d. This is your one-step inequality. So I want to find what d is. So minus 8 on the left and on the right. Cancel. My d less than negative 10. Once again, in this case, I will not switch the inequality symbol. So no reverse. You will not reverse the inequality because you did not multiply by a negative or divide by a negative number. You can only change the symbol direction only if you multiply or divide by a negative number. So in this case, I'm going to graph it. So this is going to be in negative 10, and this is going to be in negative 9, and in negative 11, and negative 12, and negative 8. So you can eliminate answer choices. This is going to be an open circle on negative 10, and my arrow is going to point in this direction. You have to take it as d could take on any number that is bigger than negative 10. All the numbers bigger than negative 10 is on the right side. Or my arrow directions will be opposite. They won't be the same facing direction because my variable is not on the left side. Now pause the video and copy this down. Make sure that you put 2 columns. Now, if an inequality statement is true, for example, negative 3 is less than 0, which is true. Or if you take it as 2 is less than 4, which is true. Or you can take it as 4 is greater than 2, which is true. If any of these statements become true, then the solution are all real numbers. That means you have many solutions. So this is really an important concept, and on your EOC, you will be finding many questions with the arrows pointing, and it is just easy to figure out. So if the arrows keep going in both the directions, that means any number will possibly be an answer choice. Now, if an inequality statement is false, for example, 4 is less than negative 2, which is not true. Or if you take it as 0 is greater than 1, which is not true. So in this case, they are all false. So if it becomes false, then you will not find any solution, no solution. Let's focus on question number 22. You have on the left and on the right distributive property. So let's do the distributive property on the left. So 2 multiplies 4c to give you 8c. 2 multiplies negative 7 to give you negative 14. Bring the inequality symbol exactly the way it is. Distributive property on the right as well. 8 multiplies c to give you 8c. 8 multiplies negative 3 to give you negative 24. Now collect all the variables on one side. So I'm going to bring this to the other side by doing the opposite. Minus 8c. Cancel. I got negative 14 greater than or equal to 8c and negative c. 8c also cancels out to give you negative 24. And negative 14 is greater than or equal to negative 24. Yes, it is true. Negative 14 is greater than negative 24. So this is true. Since it is true, you have many solutions. So your graph in this case is going to look like, so you can have any number of numbers in here. So for example, I have negative 12, negative 11, negative 13, and so on. And all I have to do is just point the arrow in both the direction. The arrow tells you that it's going to keep going on and on. That means that any number that falls on the number line, any possible number will work in the place of C to make this inequality come true. Question number 26. Write this down. So on the left side, you have variables. You need to combine these two variables. So you need to combine this and this. If they are on the same side, you combine them. So 9.5j plus 5.5j is going to give you 15j minus 6. Bring the inequality symbol exactly the way it is. On the right side, you're going to do your distributive property. So 3 multiplies 5j to give you 15j, and 3 multiplies negative 2 to give you negative 6. So bring the variables on to one side, minus 15j, minus 15j. Cancel. Minus 6 less than or equal to positive 15j, negative 15j cancels out, and this is going to be negative 6. Now negative 6 is not greater than negative 6, but negative 6 is equal to negative 6, so this is true. The way you can read this is negative 6 has to be either greater than or equal to negative 6. In this case, they are equal to negative 6, so it becomes true. Since it becomes true, your number line graph is going to look like negative 6, negative 5, negative 7. It doesn't matter which numbers you take, but you have to understand that you have any number of solutions. So that means all the real numbers are part of the solution. And if you have to understand this further, that means if you take any number on your number line and if you replace your j by it, then the left side and the right side will make this inequality come true.